Alright, the first thing I want to do is solve the problem with the infrared detector detecting infrared when there isn't infrared. So I'm going to build a simple circuit, and I'm going to see if the red light from the Arduino has any effect on the detector being activated when it shouldn't. So that's that. But the problem is, with the infrared detector, is that it's just the way it acts, okay? It's pretty dumb. Because when there's no infrared light, it lets through a bit of current, and when there is, it lets through a lot. The problem here is that it never lets through nothing, you know what I'm saying? And that makes it hard to measure if the infrared light is actually on or not, because usually with an Arduino, you're measuring, is there a voltage, not, is there a higher current? Because current is just gross, okay? And what I did to solve this, like, get this, right? So I took a 10 ohm resistor, right? And I put it in between the output pin of the infrared detector and where the fuck did I put it? Right, between the output of the infrared detector and ground, okay? And so what's important is that there's no resistor in between the output and the analog pin in the Arduino. So basically, I don't know jack shit about electronics, okay? And I don't really know if anyone actually does. I think they're all just lying. But I think that the electrons, right? So like if there are a few of them, if there's a small current coming, infrared is off, they're gonna go to ground because it's not that crowded, right? But let's say like infrared light goes on, right? Detector starts spewing electrons trying to go to ground, but no, the resistor crowds them, and then some of them are like, fuck this, I'm gonna go to the Arduino and tell it that the infrared is on, right? Alright, so all of this works and it's good, but the Uno, the shooter, is still connected with a cable to get power, and that's not really how a gun is supposed to operate, right? So instead, I'm going to take this battery, attach this little thing on top, solder some two little breadboard wires onto it, and then use that as the power supply, attach it to the voltage in pin of the Uno, and then that should give me power, and then I can just use it without having to plug it into the computer, which is good. So the Arduino is on battery power, so this is kind of like the first iteration of the gun. It looks kind of silly, I gotta be honest. But look, I'm gonna press the button, if you see it light up white, that means it's working, okay? Button off. Whoa, nothing's happening. But oh my god, if you push the button, whoa. I don't know if you can hear the button click, it's pretty clicky. It's a pretty shit button though. I need to get something better for the real thing. But that's good for now. I tinkered with the values and strength of the resistance and with the sensitivity of the Arduino, and I got the range to go up to around 0.5 meters, which is pretty good. And to make it less stupid and boring and dumb, I got some speakers that I'm going to integrate into the thing so that when you shoot the target, it makes a sound. So it wasn't working, of course, because why would it? I made it. And so instead I just tried to test the audio on its own in a new sketch, and that didn't work as well. But the reason for that was because I was using the wrong transmitter and receiver pins on the Arduino, because apparently it's like a highway, right? You can't go both directions in the same time for some reason. And so I fixed that, and now the range on the radio went to shit for some reason. So I changed the code on that, and then it worked actually pretty good. And for some reason, it works on battery better than it does for computer power. Maybe like computers 5 volts, batteries 9 volts, and that's just better. You know, more volts means better, right? Right? Then I put in some pitch logic so that as you shot it 1, 2, 3 times, the sounds get higher and higher pitched, like in the game. So, pretty cool stuff. Definitely a lot further than last time. What's left is to actually have multiple receivers so that it's actually multiple targets, because kind of just one is kind of stupid. I also need to find a way to make sure like it only turns on when it actually needs to, because the Arduino's on battery, right? And 9-volt batteries are kind of bad, and they can only run it for about 10 hours. And so if it's on like for one day, then I'm kind of screwed, right? But until then, subscribe.